We're going to look at some more probability. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a probability modeling method, and this is called a tree diagram. With a tree diagram, there's a lot of different types of tree diagrams. We're going to look at a basic one. Basic one is usually when it has two events and it has two branches. We could do as many events as we want. So if I flipped a coin and then I flipped a coin again and then I flipped a coin a third time, we would have three events. Event one being the first coin, event two being the second, event three being the third. The branches are based on the number of events. So if I had a basket with 5 different types of marbles, I would have 5 different types of branches. Now, the basic tree diagram, what we have is event A, and this is the other event. I put the complement of A, or we could say not A. Now, if event A happens, there's two possibilities. Event B happens, or I should say B happening, or not B happening. Remember, it's the complement of B. If event A doesn't happen, then either B happens or B doesn't happen. Now, how we figure out the probabilities is we multiply them. So the probability that A happens and then B happens is right here. The probability that A happens and then not B happens. Probability that A doesn't happen but B happens. And the probability that A doesn't happen and B doesn't happen. So that gives us all of our possibilities. What we're going to do is we're going to look at two examples. We're going to look at a basic one, and then we're going to look at a more complex one. So for our basic one, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a basket of marbles, and we have 3 green marbles and 7 red marbles. We pick out 2 marbles. So when we're drawing our tree diagram, what we have are our first events, and with the first event, either I pick out a green marble or I pick out a red marble. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my probabilities. So notice I have 3 greens and I have 7 reds. That means that there's a total of 10. So green would be 3/10 and red would be 7/10. Notice that these branches add up to 1. Now, I have a green marble in my hand. There are 2 possibilities. Either I pick a green marble or I pick a red marble. If I have a green marble in my hand, there are no longer 3 green marbles. There are 2 green marbles, and there's no longer 10, there are 9. In the same way, if I have a green marble in my hand, there are still 7 red marbles, but there's only 9 total marbles. If we're looking closely, one thing that we notice is that those add up to 1. Now, if we happen to pick a red marble first, there's 2 possibilities. Either I pick a green or a red. If I have a red marble in my hand, the probability of me picking a green marble would be 3 out of 9. And the probability of me picking a red marble, there's no longer 7, there's now 6 out of the 9. Notice once again, these branches add up to 1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to solve the different probabilities. So looking at letter B, what is the probability of picking 2 red marbles? Well, 2 red marbles means we pick a red and then we pick a red again. So we're going to multiply those 2 probabilities, 7/10 times 6/9. And that right there gives us 42 out of 90. Now remember, you don't have to reduce it, but if you want to, you could reduce it. So we could reduce it to 7/15. Either answer is going to be correct. Now, for letter C, if we're looking at letter C, it's going to be a little bit different. With letter C, it's saying what's the probability of picking 1 red and 1 green. Why this is more difficult is because we don't know the order. Either we could pick a green and then a red, or we could pick a red and then we pick a green. We have both of those possibilities, so we need to find the probability of both of those. For the first one, green, red, we have 3/10 and 7/9. And what we're going to do is we're going to add that to the red and then the green. So the red is 7/10 and the green is 3/9. Now when we multiply them, we get 21 over 90 and 21 over 90. And so that adds up to 42 over 90. And if we want to reduce it, we can. We don't have to. 7 over 15. Now, if we're looking at letter D, what it's saying is at least one green marble. Now, when we're talking about at least one green marble, that means it could be one or it could be two green marbles. So at least one green marble means green, green, or green, red, or red, green. That would be at least one green marble. That means that our probability would be 3 out of 10 times 2 out of 9 plus 3 out of 10 and 7 out of 9 plus, then we have the red green, 7 out of 10 and 3 out of 9. So we're going to add each one of those up. We have 21 and 21, and we have 6. So that right there gives us 48 out of 90. And if we want to reduce it, we can, but we don't have to. 8 over